Hi, so there are a lot of videos about people who have turned vegan, and my video should be a bit different because the only thing that I've given up is meat. So that is red meats and white meats. Now what is interesting is I hardly ever eat dairy. In fact, if I have a pizza, it'll have a tablespoon of cheese on it. So I eat about a teaspoon of dairy per day, and that's just because it might be in a biscuit or something like that. So overall, I'm not someone who eats much dairy, and I hardly ever eat any eggs. I never have eggs for breakfast. So the only thing that has changed in my diet is that I stopped eating red meats and white meats. I do eat some fish though. So occasionally I've eaten fish. So this is an interesting video because I can report on the changes in my body and in terms of just my well-being since I stopped eating meat. So I stopped eating meat in the beginning of November, and it is now well over 4 months since I had the last piece of meat, which actually happened to be a roast chicken. Now I'm not someone who hates meat. I'm actually, people who know me know that I would have very big braais. What we call a braai is actually what you may call a barbecue, where you cook lots of meat over a fire. In fact, I've owned many kettle type braais, and right now I'm actually looking at 2 kettle braais which have been used properly. When I say properly, I mean I even designed my own built-in braai out of bricks. So this is something that we take seriously, being meat eaters. All right, so something has changed. I decided to stop eating meat. I took up the challenge, and I'm going to report on what has happened to my body and my energy levels since I stopped eating meat, being 4 months now. So in this video, I'm going to show you some before and after pictures of myself. I'm going to show you my weight before and after. So here are my 2 kettle barbecues or braais, which are now collecting dust. Right, and I'm weighing myself. I'm 87.1 kilograms. All right, so I've put some pictures of myself. I'm 40 years old. I'm just over 6 foot tall. I do a variety of sports. I do a little bit of gym, a little bit of cardio, some runs. I do a 5K run every few weeks. Now, during this 4-month period, my weight just fluctuated around the 86, 87 mark. Now you can see the after pictures. Right, so I'm just going to present you what changed. No meat for 120 days. Right, so the topics are circulation, stamina, tiredness, feeling weak or not, sports, all right, at the gym, possible overexertion, cravings, and after meals. All right, so the first one is circulation. I find my circulation has improved. You're probably wondering, how do I measure this? Well, I teach a class, and for the most part, my schedule is repetitive in terms of teaching. So every Thursday, I would teach a class, and I would stand in front of the class, and there's often lab work, and I'd have to walk around, and this would be in excess of 3.5 hours. Mostly on the Friday morning, I was pretty stuffed. I would have to sleep in, and most of Friday, I had to take it slow. It's like that standing and being on my feet was depleting me. And since I stopped eating meat, quite short afterwards, I found that that evening class did not stuff up my Friday. I was actually fine on the Friday, so I feel like my circulation had improved. I didn't feel like I was carrying an extra load. I just felt lighter on my feet. The other thing is, especially for men, you get erections in the night and you wake up with them. That increased quite a lot. The next thing is stamina. Now, why I've put this in its own category is because stamina is not something that only happens in the gym or while you're exercising. So what I noticed is over the last few weeks, I've been fixing cars. I've been fixing one particular car and leaning over it quite a lot. Now, normally I'd have to take breaks, and I just find that I can just carry on going. Getting on a ladder, working, installing light fittings, just being at work, as I said, teaching a class, standing for a lot, and then also in the gym, being able to continue for longer. Normally, I would see, I've done my 400 calories, and I'd be like, barely able to do it. Now I am looking at my watch thinking, it's 35 minutes of training. I can just carry on. It's not like there's a problem. So it improved. The next one is tiredness. Now, this is an interesting one because, people go through phases, and sometimes the tiredness builds up over weeks and weeks and weeks. So it's hard to say because, you have a December holiday and the first week you're exhausted. Or maybe you have a mid-year holiday and you find the first week you're exhausted. So this is something you'd have to measure over a long period of time. So I can say that it's been, over 120 days. And has been a very busy 120 days. It's not like I've had less work to do and therefore I'm saying I'm not as tired. I can say that this has been the most busy year up to date. And I don't like to complain about busyness, but I can honestly say 2020, the beginning of 2020 and the end of 2019 have just been so busy. So I found that I still have the energy. I don't feel like I need to go and sleep. I don't feel like I'm sitting at my table that I'm just like daydreaming and waiting to just go and rest. So I feel like there's an improvement in terms of being awake. The next one is feeling weak and or depleted. Now, this is different to being tired. You can be tired but still, have strength or have the ability to, get up and go and do an activity, but you are feeling tired. Feeling weak is like your body's tired, your body's weak, you don't have that strength, you don't have that resilience. I found that has reduced considerably. So I just noticed that I'm able to continue with my tasks. I don't feel like if having just done a task that I need to go and rest. I've noticed that the need to rest is reduced. Like normally I would be working on an installation, I'll do some manual labor, then I'd need to have a break. Then I would go and do some more manual labor, I need to have a break. I just feel like I can carry on for longer. So a lot of this is interrelated, like the stamina, the feeling weak, depleted. I just feel like I can just get up and go and keep on going. So I don't feel as weak and I don't feel as depleted having done a lot of work in the day. I'm someone who will start working by 8:30 and I'll go all the way till 7:30. All right, so in terms of sports, I can just comment about in the gym. I've been doing gym for more than 20 odd years of my life, on and off. And I have a good reference in terms of how I was when I was younger, how I was in my 30s, and now being 40, I can also compare. And I can say that my recovery has only marginally improved. That is why there's a small tick there. I cannot say that since I've stopped eating meat that I'm suddenly not having sore muscles the following day after doing gym. No. Having done gym, I'm still stiff, and I'm still stiff for a similar amount of time. It's just I don't feel that tiredness with the stiffness. In terms of strength, no, there's been no change. It's not like suddenly I've stopped eating meat and I can now bench press 30% more. Not at all. In fact, my strength is exactly the same. I haven't changed in any of the weights. Right, so this is also linked to the next topic, which is overexertion. Now, I don't only do gym, I also play a bit of soccer, I go for jogs, and I do other cardiovascular activity. And what I noticed is that I'm able to continue doing the activity for longer. It wasn't common for me to play soccer with my children, for example, whereas now I'm playing over 30 minutes, sometimes 40 and 50-minute sessions of soccer where, you're running around constantly, and I'm actually wanting to burn those calories. I just feel like there's just more in the tank. Keep on going. Now, why am I talking about overexertion? Right, so maybe it's raining and your car's, say, 250 meters away from where you're leaving a business, and then you decide, I'm going to run to the car so I don't get wet. Then you run to the car, and then you sit in the car, and suddenly you feel like, oh gosh, why did I do that? And you're just feeling like tired now, and you pay for that over the next hour. It's like your body's now weak and you feel like you've just overexerted. And I was saying that I do these jogs. We've got something called a park run. I know this is quite popular in other countries. You run 5 kilometers in a controlled fashion. So it's almost like a partially social event, and it's timed. So you all start together and you run your 5 kilometers. So I also do other jogs outside of what we call a park run. And what I noticed is in doing the park run, because it's timed, so what I noticed is I was doing a park run and I was still out of breath and breaking into a bit of a sweat, and I thought I was, maybe able to do more. But anyway, I was doing the park run, and then I noticed that I was still quite tired. But what I didn't realize is I was actually running faster. So when I looked at my time, I had gained or improved in terms of my performance. But I was still feeling tired, and during the run I was feeling like, when is this going to end? So I'd actually improved my performance, although my tiredness or my energy level in the run was kind of the same, but I was actually going faster. So what I noticed afterwards is that I wasn't feeling exhausted. One of my sons, he likes to race in the park run, and he will do a park run faster than me, and sometimes I'll actually try and race him and try and get below a 24-minute, and then I'll be stuffed the whole of Saturday, sometimes Sunday, and I'll think to myself, why did you do that? You're not running fit, so why did you overexert? And what I've noticed since I've stopped eating meat is that overexertion, the pain or the penalty of that overexertion is far reduced. So I don't feel that like needing to recover and needing to sit for long periods of time having just overexerted. I don't feel that as much. So it's definitely improved. So this is also in terms of work. Some days I'll actually have worked and done quite a bit of manual labor, and I'm thinking, oh, tomorrow is going to be, I'm going to have to rest a bit. And then the next day I'm actually fine. So while you can still overexert yourself, you don't feel the negative impact of that overexertion, or at least it's reduced somewhat. The next one is cravings. I've just noticed that sweets, I don't eat a lot of sweets, but I just noticed that I don't crave it as much. And there is a meat dinner. And as it's not that I've been against meat, as I've said in the beginning of the video. Normally I would crave, something called biltong, and that is a raw meat. And I would even look at that as a type of medication. If I was feeling like sick or I had a flu, I would go and get a very raw piece of dried raw meat and actually eat it over the day, during the day, as a type of medicine, if you will. So I actually noticed that I'm not craving meat. What I do crave more of is actually salad. And I know that's probably pretty annoying. Please don't thumbs down me because I said I crave salad. I can't help it. It is probably my favorite food. So my cravings have improved. And the last one is just after meals. I'm someone who eats a lot of meals, so I eat frequently. Now, normally I would have a lot of meat, and then I'd find like I needed to digest and relax after the meal. So if you're eating 6 or 7 meals in the day, and you're having to have like 25 to 30 minutes rest time after your meal because you can't just like get up on a ladder and carry on working, that can be quite debilitating. So I just noticed with a plant-based food, my digestion time is much quicker, and I'm able to carry on with my day much sooner. So there's definitely an improvement in terms of how I feel after meals. And meat is not something that was foreign to me. Here I'm camping with my 2 boys, and there you can see the barbecue with a lot of lamb chops, chicken, and there's still what we call boerewors, which is a beef sausage, which is still going to cook shortly. So here you can see this is just for 3 people. So when I say I used to eat meat, I mean I used to eat meat. And there's some proof. There's a function, and I'm barbecuing. And even when I went out to restaurants, so you can see there's a beef stir fry with some rice. Indian food, probably my favorite. There you've got lamb curry, chicken tikka masala. Okay, so in conclusion, no, I'm not saying I'll never eat meat again. No, I'm not saying I hate meat. All I'm saying is that I feel about 8 years younger. In part 2 of this video, I will show you the foods that I've been eating, and I'll talk to you a little bit about the protein and the question I keep getting asked, what about the protein? And I'll tackle that in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.